Hello everyone to my channel. My dog is touching the camera. Shout out Loki, I love you. Today, got a special video. Happy New Year, by the way, to everybody out. Not anybody, everybody out there. Leave all that stuff in the past. Only go forward. But this video, if you haven't, seen the title or the thumbnail, these are top 5 anime that you should be watching. Now, I thought about this, and I'm a very anime fanatic, art, writing, all that stuff. I love anime. I love the stories, I love the characters, I love the action, slice of life. It's so beautiful. It was really hard to pick top 5 ones that you should be watching. These are my favorite, and I wouldn't put them on a list of like top 5 all time, top 10, etc. These are just top 5 that you should consider for sure. You really should consider. Especially if you're not into like the long anime or fighting or, we'll get through all the categories. Well, what am I even talking about? Number 1, Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho, this anime has touched me. Whoa. This anime is just unpredictable. I'm gonna start off with what it's about. And no spoilers. I'm trying not to spoil any of these because obviously that defeats the whole purpose, but basically the main character is a blank slate kind of character guy, and he's not like your main characters like, Naruto or, Dragon Ball Z characters or, anything of the mainstream. Very different. And it's about psychic abilities, but the way that they kind of introduce each character, every character has character development, so that's not missing. Slice of life, it's there, for sure there. The growth of each character, I mean, the whole show just has it all. The animation, there are no shortcuts, there are no ass pulls, there is nothing of that sort in Mob Psycho. I mean, season 3 just came out, I just finished it, had me in my seat, had me almost about to cry. And I mean, honestly, a lot of animes, the hell, what's the science behind that one? Anime, I mean, I'm kind of older now. I mean, it's kind of hard to get super emotional, but there are some triggers in there, man. It's a slice of life with perfect animation. Each character has its own funny uniqueness, good and bad. On top of that, the fight scenes are extraordinary. I mean, it's just perfect the way that everything's lit up in Mob Psycho, and it's the power scaling isn't like crazy. Like, it's not gonna. I don't think they're gonna mess up. It's just from episode 1 all the way to season 3 right now. And by the way, there's only like 12 episodes per season, so you can literally hop on this right now and literally finish it in probably a week and know what I'm talking about. Damn, it's really hard trying to describe this without spoiling it. Yeah, he has, okay, I'm gonna go a little deeper into it. Basically, he has psychic abilities. But the way that the psychic abilities and his belief systems, it just clashes. It clashes. And there are characters that try to help him, and he's just a tough cookie, man. But he's so kind-hearted and gentle, and the villains that happen in the chaos of conflict, it kind of stirs a war inside of him, and most people go through in life. He begins to question himself, of his powers, of life, other people, and it's not just him that question things. It's very eye opening how they pick, different parts of your brain when the show, and it just all comes together and it just makes sense. Like, the messages are there, and I just love it because at first when I watched it, I really didn't notice it. Like, I didn't notice it, and I rewatched it again, and I'm like, wow, this show is actually very well thought, planned, crafty, witty show. And with that being said, Mob Psycho is actually my top 5 favorite anime of all time. You should give that a listen. Number 2, this anime is called Afro Samurai. A black swordsman who's badass, extremely badass, extremely badass. If you have a weak stomach, I wouldn't recommend watching this because he is cutting heads off, chopping shit, chop, 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 almost every episode. And there's some nudity in there as well, profanity, but we'll get that out the way. Basically, though, why I think you should watch it is because not only the message, but the way that the story is set out. He's practically a dog. I mean, it's kind of, Afro's kind of like an underdog, all right? Cause like, I don't want to spoil it, man. This is really weird. This is a really, really weird topic to do. Like, it's not like I'm telling you about the anime. It's like I'm trying to persuade you to watch the anime. He's a badass character. He barely talks, and when he does talk, you know he's there. His presence is there, and I kind of like how it portrays his like subconscious thoughts versus like what he has to do. And I feel like some people, struggle with some mental illness where like, your voices are doubt and stuff like that. The way that he shuts his mind off and he just pulls through with the hardest amount of tasks, I think that's really touching to me. Even like if you indulge in this anime, you'll understand why I put it on the list. Like, boy, nigga's a dog, bro. Nigga is a dog. It's very I feel like Afro Samurai is really crafty how they do like the mind games. It's it's a very gruesome and like adult like show. I mean, they're straight to the point with it, but animation, characters, story, everything. I give it a 10. It's only 5 episodes with a movie. I mean, like, but you just gotta watch it. You have to watch it. Who doesn't like black swordsmen? Who's badass, bro? Going with number 3 on the list. Who doesn't like black swordsmen? Who's badass, bro? Shout out Loki. Going with number 3 on the list. This is a Chinese anime. Scissor 7. He lives on an island that's kind of small, so like each character, like you kind of know each character. It's like living in a small city. You kind of know everybody, but it's about an assassin and he forgets his memory. But the main character is badass, and this is why I think you should watch it. First off, each episode has that unique color to it. Ooh, oh, whoa. Each character has its uniqueness. Of it's mad funny. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's about an assassin, but it's mad goofy. But the reason why I got hooked into it is because at first I was just scrolling and I'm like, all right, let's just try it out. Let's give it a listen. And well, at first, I'm already a big anime fan, so I was like, all right, I'm already gonna like it. But action packed right off the bat, I love that with the color, nice animation, no ass pulls, I love it. But I was like, what message are they trying to kind of give me here? Because each episode was goofy as hell, but it just seemed like there was something in the background, not literally in the background, but the show was getting more intense. Like it was getting a bit more dark, even though there was like the corniness to it. And as you go through the season, and I'm like, oh, there's actually like a higher, power. Not, I don't want to say power like God, but there's more going on than you think because it's like funny, corny characters that kind of distract you, and then they're fighting, and the fight scenes are badass, like 10 out of 10 fight scenes. But the characters themselves, you're like, what the hell? This man knows how to use like energy blast or something, but he's like working on like a hot dog stand or something. Like he can't like. It's funny. Like it's really it's really deception based, but not deception based. It's just a corny character, and then they just start pulling like Kamehamehas out of nowhere, and then the main character's like, what the heck? Or it's just hilarious. But as the season progressed, it gets a bit more serious. I think they're coming out with a movie now, but I just love that. I love that type of style where every episode. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Mob Psycho, Afro Samurai, and Scissor Seven all have this in common, where it's kind of like Avatar. If you watched it, how every episode kind of has its own main goal, but there's like a higher goal. I mean, I can't really name another show that did that, but basically each episode has its own goal. Not like, oh, we're gonna get to the castle, and then the first episode is them getting to the castle, and then the second episode is like, all right, we're gonna go in the castle and do this. Then they do that, and then the third, like, it's not anything like that. Each episode has its own plot, own goal, own everything. So it's like a fresh new episode, like super fresh, and I love that. I love that because it just adds flavor, man. It gets you off your seat, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't fit any kind of condition. So therefore, it's just free, new, everything's perfect. Not everything's perfect, but everything's perfect. Top 10 just because I love the art style, and I love actually Chinese anime too. I think they're slept on. But something that, you should really watch. Number 4 on the list. This is a top 5 anime for people that already know anime. You probably already know what this is. Death Note. Death Note was a written show that was just well planned, precise characters. Everything was booming. Everything was booming in Death Note. Kid genius. Who doesn't like watching a kid genius, right? Go through obstacles in life. Not only is he half crazy, but he finds a book, and basically he can murder people with the book. I don't want to, he doesn't literally hit people with the book. There's a bit of, magic with it, demonic powers and stuff like that. But basically, slice of life, good, no ass pulls. Maybe a little bit. There might have been like a filler or two. Not really, but this show isn't really about fighting like the first 3 anime with, slice of life and stuff like that. This is more about using your mind, and I mean, who doesn't use their mind, right? But this is like literally a battle of a mind, like solving crime scenes, like thinking outside the box, like high IQ, like reading different situations, like literally mind game. This is a mind game anime. I mean, the main character and the antagonist, protagonist, they're going back and forth because they're geniuses, and nobody knows but them. And pretty much it's just wild. It's a wild ride. I mean, like you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, you're gonna think this, and it's not gonna happen. I mean, obviously there's some BS in there, but like they'll chop it up and they'll explain why. And like if you're not paying attention, you'll probably miss something that you probably should pay attention to. Very different anime because a lot of people that aren't into it, they're like, oh, the fighting is weirder. This is slice of life with more of a darker turn to it. I mean, there's still love in there and stuff like that, but the main character is out here slaughtering people, and you should probably think about your morals. I love Death Note. I love anime. Last on the list, I'd consider it an anime. Castlevania. Castlevania. It's on Netflix. If you ever checked it out, that's where you can check it out. It's about vampires. I don't know how people feel about vampires nowadays, but me personally, I fuck with them. I honestly do. Twilight series was perfect. Now he's Batman. Nah, for real. It's I'm pretty sure they took the characters from an old school writer. Like, I'm pretty sure he wrote the characters out and they kind of like twisted it. Trevor Belmont, Alcard, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that's like super throwback. I'm pretty sure there's like a game about it too. But basically, it's run down times, not ancient times, but you know what I mean. Like, it's throwback times, and The world is a very, very violent place. This is an anime that'll test your morals out as well. Like, um, that's how you know when a good story is a good story. When you question what the characters are doing, but then you understand what they're doing with their actions and what they say, and like what's charging it behind it, and it makes sense. And then you kind of question your own life. When you can tie that together with your own life, it you really start to think. You really start to think about a lot of things, and most of the anime on this list are really triggering because you could be going through something, or like you could have in the past. It could bring back a memory, and Castlevania will do it, man. It'll do it because it'll show you how fucked up the road is in your own eyes, and then the writer's eyes, and you can just see the mind like it makes sense. And I don't like how people kind of downplay anime. It's not something that's corny. It's just like a show, if you actually pay attention to it and actually, diminish yourself and actually learn, you actually might find things that you could relate to, or things that you might like, or things that you have no idea and you just are interested. Castlevania is one of those shows. At first, I was like, okay, the story's a bit slow, but I was hooked. I was hooked. Like, it was very, very slow. But after, the first two episodes, I was like, you know what? This show has potential. I think there's 3 seasons or 2 seasons, and it's good on religion. It's good on it's a good. It'll make you think a little bit. It'll make you think. Me personally, I love the fighting and the characters. I actually like writing and art, and I do make characters, and I do have a manga on the way. So I try to learn from the characters and the writer like that wrote the characters. Like, the character developments are awesome. Like, oh my gosh, each character has its own, like, they have their own path, and they all like it all intertwines and stuff, and like characters show up out of nowhere, and it's crazy, man. It's honestly crazy. That's my list of top 5 anime you should try to give it a watch, give it a listen. You know what I mean? Um, I think each of these anime they're extremely witty, extremely crafty. The fight scenes to the characters to the slice of life, and I really like how each of these shows have a certain belief for a character, and they act on it really, really hard. They explain to you why they act on it, and like if their belief or their boundary is pushed, like they'll show their wrath, or they'll show it, especially in Mob Psycho, Afro Samurai, Castlevania. Scissor 7 is a bit more. You don't really see that until the later in the show. And as far as Death Note, um, boundaries are definitely getting pushed, but it's a bit of chess going on. And should give them a try. This is one of my first videos of me actually talking into the camera, like trying to be serious. Hopefully, it's not as cringe as y'all think it is, and it's a learning experience for everybody, right? So, this is King Key signing off. More videos to come. Thank you.